Something is happening in the skies over Colorado. The number of safety concerns reported by air traffic controllers spiked last year. There were more serious events and hazards in 2010 than in the previous 5 years combined. 9 Wants to Know investigator Kyle Clark is here to explain. So, Kyle, what exactly do we mean when we say safety concerns?
Mark, we're talking about confusion during potentially dangerous weather events, distraction in air traffic control rooms, and even near mid-air collisions.
Our window into what's happening in the skies,
you go through lots of different databases,
comes from a room without a window on the outside world.
A lot of times it's fairly boring.
Where Bert Hubbard, the former Rocky and Post reporter, works for the nonprofit journalism outfit iNews, digging into databases of public information.
When we got into the database and started looking at it, it was like, whoa.
He's talking about air safety records kept by NASA. Unlike the FAA's incident reporting system, the NASA reports are anonymous, and they are blunt.
There are a lot of things up there that people don't realize are going on.
32 safety concerns reported by air traffic controllers across Colorado in the first 11 months of 2010, more than the previous 5 years combined. Near mid-air collisions reported by pilots at a rate as much as 3 times higher than what was previously reported by the FAA.
It is an unusual scenario for air traffic controllers to put pilots in a position of jeopardy.
9 News aviation expert Greg Feith, the former lead investigator for the NTSB, attributes the spike to increased awareness and inexperienced air traffic controllers.
Because of the way the FAA implements now new air traffic controllers into facilities, that breeds a higher level of distraction.
Because, Feith says, the FAA is putting rookie controllers into the big leagues in places like Denver.
They'll assign a person coming right out of the academy to a facility and then leave them there. So now it's on-the-job training rather than gaining that practical experience in a more controlled environment and moving them up there. That is creating a real big issue.
Like July of last year.
A lot of heavy weather building up, especially in the southern and eastern portions of Metro Denver.
A controller at DIA reported that supervisors guessed on how to avoid thunderstorms, guessed wrong, and put pilots and their hundreds of passengers in, quote, a very dangerous situation. Planes stacked up and circled overhead.
It's so dynamic, so complex, and that you really need to have people that have a high level of experience to mitigate or eliminate the potential for accidents and incidents.
Feith says he does not think that the skies are any less safe because improved equipment is making up for human inexperience.
People shouldn't be fearful to be flying on a commercial airliner today.
Bert Hubbard's research at iNews found the FAA had been warned years ago about the coming wave of air traffic controller retirements that is now putting less experienced people in key positions.
And it's still going on. The spike really won't hit its peak until 2012.
Everyone acknowledges that NASA's anonymous reporting system has looser standards than the FAA system. It's more susceptible to abuse by disgruntled workers or people trying to cover their tail after they make a mistake. But the General Accounting Office, essentially congressional investigators, have warned the FAA that it failed to use the NASA data to identify important safety issues. The FAA told iNews that it's tightened up its training system and now has fully certified controllers at every position.
So they move all these pilots into heavy weather over Parker, and now the pilots have to figure out how to get out of that box. So what happens next?
The final decision is up to the pilot. They're the ones who are responsible for the plane and the people on it. So in that case, the pilots refused to go through the thunderstorm, which meant the plane stacked up and stacked up and stacked up. And that's a dangerous situation. More traffic, more possible errors.
I know they're really concerned about this wave of retirements coming. This is pretty serious for the FAA.
As we said, it's only going to get worse in the next couple of years, so it's going to be something that we'll hear more about.
All right, Kyle Clark, thank you very much. And you can read the Rocky Mountain Investigative News Network's entire story on 9news.com.